Alright. So, what am I reviewing today? What's this? No! I can't take it! It's all so clear to me now. I'm the one who's been chosen. I am. The trees are the tall ones. They are. And they reach. And they reach so high. Ooh. And the trees, they're the ones who shepherd the marmosets. It's where they build their cities. All the marmosets, deep in the land of the trees. The trees. Oh, I know the trees. I know the trees better than even the marmosets do. For I know that the trees are cowards. Oh, they're cowardly trees. For they hide. They hide behind the bark. They do. You! And you! And you! You're all cowards. And yet they build. And they're planning an invasion. And with an army of trees. They're all the same. They're all the same. Just like the licensed games on the Game Boy Advance. The trees, they're speaking to me. What messages do they offer? Oh, it's you. I should have known it was you among the trees. Oh, you're all the same. You're all the same. You're all cowards. It's you, and it's all your licensed GBA friends. You're all the same.
Actually, they're different. The Danny Phantom one's different.
Wait. So it's not just a bad platformer?
No, it's just a bad shooter. How about we go inside now? It's been like 3 days, you know?
Okay. So were you there the whole time? Because that got pretty weird back there. Can we pretend you weren't? So it may not have any marmosets, but at least it's not another generic GBA platformer for kids. At least it's got that going for it. It's a generic shooter. I know it probably sounds like I'm being a dick about it, but I'm totally serious. That alone gives this game an advantage. There are so many licensed platformers on the GBA, but just being not that makes this one okay. It's Danny Phantom Urban Jungle for the Game Boy Advance. I mean, my thought is, if making all these licensed games on the GBA basically amounted to just making generic platformers, why not just pick a different genre? Or you could still be generic, but at least you'd be a generic something else. That's what this one does. Hey, there was already a generic Danny Phantom side-scroller on the Game Boy Advance. Why not make a generic shooter as the follow-up? If you're gonna be generic, at least be different. I'm being serious. So Danny Phantom Urban Jungle is
basically Danny Phantom meets R-Type. You play as Danny, you fly around and you shoot things. Most of those things are the same things. You do that for a while, you switch to first-person stuff, you take down some bosses, and it's game over. You call it a day. It's really short, it's really simple, it's really generic. At least it's not a generic platformer. Seriously, there were a lot of those on the GBA. Now, I probably don't need to tell you that there isn't anything original here, but to the game's sincere credit, it does combine a couple things that I can't remember being combined before. Specifically, it's a traditional side-scrolling shooter, but combined with a ghost-catching hook, similar to Luigi's Mansion. So you can shoot the ghosts, but you also have a selection of weapons that lets you capture the ghosts. So you're blasting and catching, which is actually a pretty cool idea. And actually, another cool idea, even if it's also not at all original, is that you can charge yourself with two different polarities. You can go with pink or blue. You can switch between them anytime you want. And what that does is, you can absorb bullets of whatever color you happen to be using. So if you're pink, you can absorb pink bullets, and blue with blue. And that actually refills your health bar too. And again, this is another idea that's been in other games, but who cares? It's not overdone, and certainly not in licensed kids games. And it adds another interesting element to Urban Jungle, when you might not expect any. Now, the drawback to the polarity thing is that the game's a little too easy to begin with. Seriously, you have to try to lose, and adding invincibility to half the bullets, I mean, you really have to try to lose. And coming from me, that says something. I think video games should be easier across the board. This takes it a little too far. I mean, I get that it's for kids, but even for kids, this is a little much. You can slam into everything you see and not die. And for all the positive, so for all the not negative things we've said about this game, there's a lot of negative things to say about this game. I mean, it really doesn't play all that great. And the first-person parts in particular are a bit of a problem. I mean, moving a reticule with a D-pad, that is never an ideal situation. And it feels super clunky in Urban Jungle. And actually, the presentation's a bit rough, too. I mean, I realized the show had a simplistic style, but this isn't stylish simplicity. This just looks like a coloring book, and a badly colored one at that. And I don't know what to call the music. It's like broken instruments recorded inside a giant popcorn tin. You know, I enjoyed this a lot more than most licensed GBA games. I really did. But to be honest, that's only because of what it's not because of what it is. You know, it's not one of the countless generic platformers based on kids shows released on the GBA. But it's still a generic kids game for the GBA. Not a bad choice for young fans of the show, but a totally forgettable experience otherwise. I mean, it is relentlessly generic.
They're all the same.
Maybe dangerously so. It's Danny Phantom Urban Jungle. Hey, thanks for sending it, Salvatore from Philadelphia. Just look what you've done.
The trees, they're the ones who shepherd the marmosets. It's where they build their cities. All the marmosets deep in the land of the trees.